its own population, why on earth would they be caring about the Palestinians? Who the hell are the Palestinians for them? Nobody. So why should they care about the Palestinians when they don't care about the South African population and particularly the poorest of the poor? So I think we need to stand up and call this hypocrisy for what it is. We need to stand up and take an about turn and not be fools and lemmings to just simply believe that because the ANC leadership comes to your protests, somehow or the other they're in support of you. They can come to your protests and they can give you a kick in the butt. It doesn't basically make their position any more credible. We need to stand up and see and break down the barriers of this kind of cynicism that is being flowed before our eyes on a daily basis. And of course, therefore, create this necessary change at a very grassroots level, fundamentally, moving beyond protests. We've been protesting for decades. We need to move beyond that. We need to hold our own government to account for its constant trade and support for the Israeli occupation in Palestine, the occupied territories now.
Look, Yusuf, the minute they control your purse strings, then it basically means they control your life, your bedroom, everything else, your children, etc., etc. That's a clear-cut given, and that's where the power lies. The minute, and this is the Zionist ideology. It is the control of financial resources. And we mustn't sidetrack from the fact that Africa is the richest continent of all seven. We've got all kind of mineral wealth here and so on. And then there's that, the gap between the have and the have-nots. It's very big. But the irony is this, that the masses still support the ANC. The masses still support. The next election can come and they will still vote for the ANC. When are their eyes going to open up? They'll go to De Beers, buy a diamond for R1, export it to London, polish it up nicely, and come and send it back a month later to us and sell it back to us for 1,000 rand. They paid R1 for it, polished it up, probably made a markup of 500%, with the nominal cost, and then sell the diamond back to us. Who are the fools? When are we going to wake up?
Yeah, I think that's an important point. And Fadil, I think we need to possibly wrap up here. And I just want to make a few closing remarks, and then you can make your closing remarks to close the program, because I think the connection is really bad on all the sides, including on what our moderator tells us. I think the reality at this juncture is that since its establishment, being bombed into existence in 1948, Israel has sought to portray itself as a tiny country fighting for its survival against the Arab world. The reality is that it is an apartheid state. It is a racist state. It is a settler colonial state. The South African Jewish Board of Deputies supports this racist state. They are complicit in the degree of racism and apartheid that is seen enacted large. South Africans are the only people that are allowed to fight for the Israeli military, can join the kibbutz, and can join the Israeli Defense Force. If any other nation state you go and fight and become a military as a South African citizen, you can be tried and sent to jail for a long time. In conclusion, apartheid is a crime against humanity. Israel is a regional and international menace. It is destabilizing the entire world through its apartheid policies. What you're seeing now at Sheikh Jarrah and the flare-up is not new. It's going to happen again unless we don't see any significant change. And unless the basic reality is changed and Zionist apartheid is dismantled and the state of Israel has to be totally disbanded. Let me argue, not two-state solution. It has to be totally disbanded. Its leaders have to be arrested. Its leaders have to be tried for war crimes and genocide. And then hopefully you'd have to have the creation of a unity government with possibly Palestinians and Israelis side by side coming together, forming a single joint unity government for people to in fact live side by side. But its leadership has to go. The state of Israel as a nation state has to be totally disbanded as an illegal nation state that was bombed into existence in 1948 and that has absolutely no legitimacy whatsoever to exist. And I'll just end with this. Our delivery of the message, وَمَا عَلَيْنَا إِلَّا الْبَلَاغُ الْمُبِينَ. Our duty is but plain conveyance of the message. And I hope I've made my point clear and articulate in this short program that we've done.
Well, thanks, Yusuf. In closing, I'll probably just take a minute or maybe two. I need to say that 7 billion people around the world needs to wake up. It is time to smell the coffee. It is time to stand up for your God-given human rights that you fight for. An injury to the Palestinians and anywhere else in the world where injustice and oppression takes place is an injury to us, whether we're living in high-rise buildings and we drive Lamborghinis. My brother in the field out there is suffering, he's got no bread. It affects us because at the end of the day, economics and politics are interwoven. And we need to understand that, if somebody hasn't got milk to feed his child and is unemployed and the unemployment rate is 51, 52%, he is definitely going to break into, one of ShopRite's or one of the colonial chain stores and steal milk because life is more sacred than him. You prefer to go and sit in jail. And at the end of the day, it has a cascading or domino effect on the economy, because then my insurance premium is going to go up, the interest rates are going to go up, your bond rates are going to go up, and everything else is going to go up accordingly. So it does affect us, whether you want to live in a glass house and say, I don't care, I'm okay, Joe, and you, that's up to you in the village you're fighting. At the end of the day, it's going to affect you. So secondly, we need to understand that you spoke earlier about the, infiltration of the Zionist Jew into South Africa. I've read the report where there's an ex-general in the army, in the old Israeli army, that gained access into South Africa, and I don't know how, and he's training the farmers to defend the farmers against farm killings and so on. Now, much as we are against any murder, any form of unjust murder, including farm murders, we also need to examine who are our friends who came from Israel to come and teach us combat here in South Africa, as if though we are short of military might over here and good training. I think the ANC is going to be caught with their pants down. I think they're sitting out there and internally having their own in-house squabbles at the expense of the broader masses, and we are suffering. They don't care. There's no leadership, and leadership sometimes needs to make unpopular decisions, but that's how you take your people forward. And we have to investigate all these things. Not only the Palestinian ethnic cleansing, going to The Hague, reporting these people. In the old days, they sent people, the South African Defense Force went to send people to Israel to fight against the Palestinians. Those people must certainly be put on trial. And it's not just the soldiers who killed people, but it's also the handlers. It's also the people who gave permission and sent them there. And there's just, this animal is a big animal that needs to be attacked, but certainly it needs to be attacked. Yusuf, I think we've ran out of time. It's been very enlightening, and I hope the people are going to take heed of this. And I hope that, something good will be sparked off from here. I also hope that we will get Mogoeng to come and share his views. We are in a democracy. We're not scared to differ with anyone. And we are humble as well when we are proven wrong, that we can concede that we are wrong as well. But it must be proven. And then we would like to get the Jewish Board of Deputies and the South African Zionist Federation, because they, they've got ties with their friends who control the economy, and they take money from South Africa and send it to Israel. Same like America, who sends money from their taxpayers' funds, $300 million a month, US dollars, to arm the Israelites against the Palestinians. And we need to stop that flow of money, because that's where the power lies. There's just so many things. And then finally, I think it's very imperative that we get Gareth Cliff here, because he's been ranting and raving for the last 2.5, 3 years on the air, he's got his little radio station out there in the wilderness. I don't even think he's got 300 listenership, but be that as it may, he's trying to influence the people and speaking a lot of diatribe and garbage and a lot of rubbish, to be quite frank. he needs to come on the air and we need to unpack what's in his mind. There's just so many things, Yusuf. But it's been fantastic chatting to you. We hope to have maybe a 3-part series to get these special guests on board as well. And we can go deep into thank, Ahmad from the Suk Islam as well for hosting us. It's been a great opportunity, and I'd like to thank the listenership as well. If they want to communicate with us, they're welcome to send us an email, or they're welcome to give us a call. I think we can display the email address perhaps later. Thank you so much, and Jazakallah shukran to everyone. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.